As the calendar turns to December, the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers are back at home for the first time in 3 weeks to take on the Tennessee State Tigers. Hello and welcome to Diddle Arena in Bowling Green, Kentucky. Alongside Jay Walton, I'm Graham Doty. We are happy to have you with us tonight. And Jay, what a great matchup we have in store. Western Kentucky, the Hilltoppers are 3-3 overall, taking on Tennessee State. The Tigers just took Kentucky pretty closely in Rupp Arena the other day. The Tigers are 2-4 coming to the game tonight. What are you looking forward to the most tonight?
Well, what a great atmosphere here in Diddle Arena. You mentioned Hilltoppers been on the road for a while. First home game in about 3 weeks. So these fans starving for a chance to see their guys in action. Should be a packed house tonight. Going to be a lot of fun. Both teams coming off a couple losses. Both teams starving for a win.
Yeah, both teams trying to bounce back in a big way tonight. Let's take a look at some of the key players to keep an eye on tonight. First for the Tennessee State Tigers. And Jay, a player that has really stood out, Dante Fitzpatrick Dorsey, the Ole Miss transfer.
Right, he's a Memphis guard, and a lot of Memphis guards like that, they can really score. And he's a proven scorer so far this season. He's capable shooting the ball behind the arc. He's capable of putting the ball on the floor. He's gotten to the free throw line a lot, so he's a hard guy to guard because he's not one-dimensional.
Player to watch for Western Kentucky tonight, Charles Bassey, and what a talent he is.
Highly recruited big man, most highly touted recruit in school history probably, and so far is living up to the hype. And I know, speaking with Coach Stansbury before the game, really wants to get this young man involved early and often. Look for them to get him deep in the paint, get some post touches very soon into the ball game.
As far as keys to the game tonight, first for Tennessee State, what do you think will be the biggest keys for the Tigers?
Well, they come into the game among the nation's leaders in three-pointers made per game. They come from a lot of different places. They don't just have one or two guys that can make them. They got several guys that can jump up and make shots from deep. So they want to get off to a quick start. They want to get good shots early by the right guys. And the way they're going to do that is to not turn the ball over early in the game.
Keys for Western Kentucky tonight.
They have to defend the three. When you play a team that shoots as many as Tennessee State does, you don't want them to get their confidence up early. So they've got to get back in transition defense, locate shooters, get out and guard that three-point arc. Coach Stansbury wants to attack them on offense. He doesn't want to sit back and be nonchalant. He wants to get to the free throw line a lot. When they played West Virginia, one of the key stats that he talked a lot about after that game was they made more free throws than West Virginia attempted, and they're going to try to be aggressive like that in tonight's matchup.
We're underway in Diddle Arena, and the Hilltoppers have the basketball first. Our three officials tonight, Jeb Hartness, Clyde Owens, and Isaac Barnett. You saw both head coaches before the tip-off. Rick Stansbury in his third season as a head coach for the Hilltoppers. He's 45-31. And in his first season as a head coach at Tennessee State, it's Penny Collins. And we got a foul right away against Tennessee State. And Jay, another thing that Coach Stansbury told us, he wants Western Kentucky to go to the free throw line a lot tonight. So far, so good to start the game for the Hilltoppers there.
It's a great possession offensively because they worked inside out. Bassey gets a touch in the paint early on, the ball comes out. And when that happens, good things happen for your offense. Murray to the line, strong, aggressive move.
So here's Deshaun Murray, the Auburn transfer. He's from Stanley, North Carolina. Played 34 games at Auburn a season ago where he averaged 10 points and 7 rebounds. Prior to that, played 2 years at Presbyterian College where he was a Big South Freshman of the Year and a first-team all-conference selection where he averaged 20 points a game. As Jay alluded to, Tennessee State loves to shoot the three-point shot. 67 triples this season. That's 11th in the NCAA, and there's their first one of the night right there.
That's going to be their game plan. They want to get shots by the right guys, and that's a good one for the first possession for the Tigers.
So, Jay, when you play a team like Tennessee State that shoots a lot of threes, what's that like?
Well, you have to close out the shooters, but when you play Tennessee State, is not just a one-dimensional team. You close out under control, out of control, they drive right by you. So you got to be very disciplined.
Hollinsworth with the first field goal of the night for Western Kentucky, who leads 4-3. And a foul on the Tigers. Away from the basketball. This will be their second personal, or their second team foul, giving it right back to Western Kentucky. Just underway here at Diddle Arena. There's Penny Collins. He's from Nashville, Tennessee, played at Belmont, somebody you're very familiar with.
Very familiar. As an assistant coach at Lipscomb years ago, I remember when he came out of Whites Creek High School. We recruited him, not hard enough. He went to Belmont, had a great career there, and now as a young coach, he's off to a hot start as well.
Doesn't like what he sees there. Hollingsworth fouled at the elbow and knocks down the jumper.
Well, Hollingsworth, as we know, Coach Stansbury alluded to before the game, is going to see a lot of action at the point guard spot tonight. Not a natural point, but until they get Lamonte Bearden back, it's kind of point guard by committee for the Hilltoppers. So look for him to handle the ball a lot more, but off to a hot start scoring already here.
Yeah, you touch on Lamonte Bearden. He is unavailable for the first 9 games for Western Kentucky. He'll be back the game against Troy on December 16th. So right now the Hilltoppers are trying to buy time until he comes back. Hollingsworth, a step back 3. Bassey going up for the board, can't get it. What a rebound that was by Egbuda.
A little bit of a heat check there by Tavion. He made his first 2 field goals and feeling it a little bit.
Here's Cheney. Pass underneath to Egbuda with a nice finish. Tennessee State coming out strong here in the first half.
Ball screen defense for the Hilltoppers is going to be key. Guys like Bassey going to have to get out there, communicate these ball screens to the guards, help those guys get over the top.
It's an offensive foul in the paint on Charles Bassey. He doesn't care much for the call. That's his first personal and the first team foul on the Hilltoppers.
Trying to be aggressive. He wants to catch the ball deep with 2 feet planted in the paint. That time right there gets called for the clear out.
He's coming off a game in which he was 6 of 7 from the field last time out. And as you alluded to, Coach Stansbury, they want to get him the ball more moving forward.
Absolutely. They're going to be trying to get the ball to him. So far has had a hard time catching it deep in the paint. These Tennessee State defenders are looking like they're going to play behind Charles, force him as far away from the basket as he can, and when the catch comes, look for a double team from the Tigers.
More to Chafee. Chafee underneath, got Bassey to leave his feet and banks it in. What a move that was.
It was, and I was just thinking how, poised for a young player Bassey is as a defender. That time, though, leaves his feet, doesn't want to foul, so he has to get up a pretty easy layup.
Savage calling for it. Tennessee State thought he turned it over. Bassey almost does, but Murray finishes at the rim. Right place, right time there for Deshaun Murray.
Yeah, and Charles is going to have to be a passer tonight because Tennessee State is not going to let him beat him one-on-one in the post. When he catches the ball on the block, like we saw that possession, look for the double team to come.
Second turnover against Tennessee State, giving it right back to Western Kentucky. Tennessee State with an early 9-8 lead. As Jay alluded to, both teams coming off of a loss, trying to get back in the win column. Biggest thing, Western Kentucky's just glad to be back at home. First home game in 3 weeks.
A lot of frequent flyer miles so far this season.
Tough shot for Savage. Rebound underneath for Chafee. Here's Fitzpatrick Dorsey, the leading scorer, lost it on the way up, and it stays with the Tigers.
Great hands by Jared Savage to get a piece of that, not allowing a clear path to the basket.
In for the first time for Tennessee State, Michael Littlejohn, a junior guard, 5'10", from Michigan, averaging 7 points and a rebound.
Another one of those three-point shooters that you've got to locate in transition.
Fitzpatrick Dorsey misses the jumper. Bassey with his first rebound of the night. Murray got it blocked by Chafee, and a foul underneath. Foul is tagged to Damari Moore. That's his first personal, the 4th team foul on Tennessee State.
Charles Bassey, an incredible offensive rebounder. Really hard to keep him off the glass, averaging almost 4 offensive rebounds a game as a freshman. That's a key stat for him early in his career.
Took a hard fall there. He was grimacing as he popped up. Something to watch moving forward here for the Hilltoppers. Hollingsworth with a jumper, can't finish. Putback is good by Deshaun Murray, and he's fouled.
That's what Deshaun Murray brings to the table. Tough, physical presence around the glass, getting inside position there for the tip-in.
Western Kentucky leads 10-9 over Tennessee State. Deshaun Murray at the free throw line when we come back to Diddle Arena. Welcome back to Diddle Arena. Western Kentucky leads Tennessee State 10-9 with 15:53 to play in the first half. Hilltoppers want to go underneath to Charles Bassey. And Jay, what are we looking at here?
Well, they're not going to let him catch it and operate one-on-one. You can see the double team coming from the weak side there as soon as Charles catches the ball. So he's going to have to be aware, know where that double team's coming from, look for cutters going to the basket. Right there, he made the pass, got a deflection, got a little bit lucky, but a nice little bucket there off the pass when the double team came.
Deshaun Murray at the free throw line for 1 shot for the Hilltoppers. Early impressions so far, about 5 minutes in or what?
Well, Tennessee State's off to a hot start offensively from the field. We want to get back, but the 3-ball hasn't hurt them as bad. So that's that part of the game plan. The Hilltoppers have been able to execute. Just got to settle in and make them take tough shots.
2-point lead for the Hilltoppers. Yeah, you touch on Tennessee State. Good start from the field. They're 4 of 5. Only have attempted 1 triple so far. Here's Fitzpatrick Dorsey with a nice pass underneath to Chafee with a dunk. What a start for Chafee. He's got 4 points to lead the Tigers.
The Hilltoppers come out in a little bit of a trap out of that timeout, and credit to the Tigers. They were able to recognize it, handle the ball, get the ball behind the trap for the easy 2.
Bassey will try a 3 and bury it. That's his 3rd one this season. He can't do that, Jay. He's now 3 of 4 from downtown.
We saw the young man in shoot-around really working on this, and that's part of his game that he'll look to expand as his career goes on.
Yeah, shooting around, he made at least 8 in a row and was upset with himself when he missed the 9th one. Here's a nice drive and a nice pass to Chafee again with another dunk.
Dribble penetrations, breaking it down. Big Charles has to help up instead of staying with his man. The dump-off pass for the dunk.
Here's Savage. Haven't called his name a lot yet, and he goes across the lane and walks and turns it over. Second turnover against Western Kentucky.
Good call. Shuffled his feet just a little bit. Force. I think Jared Savage is trying to force a little bit too much too early right now. He's obviously one of the Hilltoppers' leading scorers, wants to get going offensively, but the example right there, just a little bit too much too soon in the offense.
He's playing an opponent that he's very familiar with, having played at Austin Peay in the Ohio Valley Conference, taking on Tennessee State tonight.
Hilltoppers still in the trap and defense.
McKnight on the drive. Fitzpatrick Dorsey underneath. Henderson can't finish. Tigers still stay with it. There's 5 to shoot, though. None of those shots hit the rim. 2 seconds. McKnight with a step back 3, got it blocked. Nice defense by Hollingsworth.
Very good recovery. That's 2 possessions in a row that Kamar McKnight's been able to get in the paint. And that time right there, the Hilltoppers lucky not to give up another easy basket.
Here's Savage. Will fire along 2 and hit his first bucket of the night. He has scored in double figures in every game. He's coming off a season low, 11 points last time out. Hollingsworth almost got a steal, and we got a foul as Agbuda stumbled at the top of the key. The foul goes on Savage, his first personal, the second team foul on Western Kentucky.
The Hilltoppers look like they're going to stay in this trapping defense for a little bit and see if they can create some turnovers to get some easy baskets in transition.
Charles Bassey subs out of the game for Western Kentucky as the junior Matt Horton is in for the first time. The 6'11" forward from Tuscaloosa, Alabama, junior college transfer from Shelton State Community College. He's averaging 1 point and 2 boards.
Coach Stansbury was tough on this young man in shoot around, wanting him to dial in and be really focused tonight. Let's see what kind of contribution he can make as Charles Bassey goes to the bench.
It's his first action in the last 3 games. Here's a 3 by Littlejohn off the mark, and Murray underneath was able to keep it alive here for Western Kentucky.
Blanton getting hung up on the screening action right there. The freshman getting caught watching the ball a little bit. The good shot for Tennessee State did not capitalize.
Hilltoppers got off to a slow start shooting. Since then, they have knocked down their last 3 shots. A turnover, the 3rd one on Western Kentucky.
First time we've seen a zone look from the Tigers so far.
Banton knocks it out of bounds, stays with the Tigers. How much of the different defense so far, defensive looks we've seen from Western Kentucky, just the fact that Tennessee State can shoot it so well?
You want to keep a team like that off balance. Coach talked about that. You know, the conventional wisdom would tell you a team that shoots as well as they do, you don't want to play a lot of zone against. But I think with a team like this, first-year head coach, they're trying to learn what they're doing. It keeps them off balance a little bit, and some of those three-pointers don't come in rhythm like they would if you stayed in man-to-man defense the whole time. So maybe we'll see some of that change in defense throughout the first half.
It's an illegal screen called on Henderson, his first personal foul. 6 fouls now on the Tigers.
It's our first look at Tolu Smith. Coach talked about him before the game as well. This young player, extremely talented. Coach wants to get him involved and just trying to find a tough time finding minutes for him behind Charles Bassey, but he's a talented young man and want to get him on the floor.
Horton is fouled on the way up. That's now the 7th foul on Tennessee State. First personal foul on Davis. But yeah, we had a great visit with Coach Stansbury at shoot-around. A lot of high praise for Tolu Smith. He thinks he has a bright future as Horton rattles in the first free throw.
Yeah, he's going to try to play Tolu at the power forward alongside Charles Bassey. And he told us that offensively that might make things a little ugly, but he's too good not to get on the floor and try to get some quality minutes out of this young man.
4-point Hilltopper lead. Littlejohn with a low pass in the corner. Smith with a good defense, under 10 to shoot. And another offensive foul on Tennessee State. That one on Fitzpatrick Dorsey, his first personal. That's now 8 fouls on the Tigers.
Yeah, that's a key stat early in this game. Tennessee State does not have the depth to get in this kind of foul trouble early. Hilltopper's already in a bonus. They go back to the man-to-man defense on that possession, turn up the pressure a little bit, create the turnover.
Here's Horton. He has it poked away, picks it back up, and with a nice shot in traffic. So Matt Horton getting some minutes here in the first half, and he's taking advantage of it.
Soft touch by the big fellow on the turnaround. Tennessee State electing to stay in the zone.
So Horton with 3 points. That is a new career high at Western Kentucky for him. Littlejohn pitches it to Davis. Davis throws a pass, nobody home. McKnight the closest one to it. Another turnover on Tennessee State. That's number 5.
Turnovers and fouls, the story for Tennessee State early in the game.
11:35 to play in the first half. Western Kentucky basketball. When we return, Hilltoppers in front, 19-13. Back after this. Welcome back to Diddle Arena. 11:35 to play in the first half. Western Kentucky leads Tennessee State 19-13. We see Charles Bassey. Looks like he will remain on the bench here for the Hilltoppers. So far tonight for Bassey, 3 points, 2 boards in 6 minutes.
We know about Charles as a heralded recruit, as a back-to-the-basket player. And a talented big man, but he shows you right there the ability to step out, hit the three-point shot. One of the many reasons that he's got a lot of NBA scouts and people on that level talking about him early in his career.
Savage has it poked away by Cheney. Savage averaging 15 points a game this season for the Toppers, 5 to shoot. Here's Banton on the drive, step back, got it swatted away by Chafee. Here's McKnight. McKnight hangs in the air, got it to go. Wow, what a shot.
That was a great body control and a tough finish there by McKnight. All started with a bad shot down here on this end by Blanton. It's not what they want out of their offense. Created early offense for TSU in transition.
Josh Anderson, he was the point guard the first handful of games to start the season. Here's a deep three by Savage. Wow, shows off his range.
You're Tennessee State, not much else you could do on that possession. That's a shot you don't mind him taking from 24 feet with a hand in his face. Just Savage able to knock it down.
Chafee with a nice pass to McKnight again. Hung in the air, couldn't finish that time. Banton with a rebound, brings it up the floor, and he's fouled by McKnight. This will be the 9th foul on Tennessee State. First personal on McKnight. As Fitzpatrick Dorsey checks in for the Tigers, coming in for Armani Cheney.
Well, as you can see, Coach Stansbury's focus of getting to the line early, being aggressive offensively, paying off, really putting Tennessee State in a bind here with foul trouble.
Can't hit the free throw. Fitzpatrick Dorsey with a rebound, his second. Moore in traffic, finds Chafee, swatted away by Horton. This is a Hilltopper team, Jay. They lead Conference USA in blocks. They average 5 blocks per game. They now have 33 as a team. They're really good at that.
Reaction by Patrick on that play, getting off the floor quick, blocked with the left hand.
Fitzpatrick Dorsey is fouled by Anderson around midcourt. This will be the 3rd foul on the Hilltoppers. First personal on Anderson. Here's Penny Collins. When Tennessee State announced him as the head coach, they did it at 6 o'clock in the morning, and Penny said he had 900 text messages on his phone. 900. Said it took him about 7 days to go through them all and respond to everybody.
I think if all my friends texted me 5 times, I might have 900 texts.
You and me both. 11 to shoot here for Tennessee State. McKnight got the foul called on Banton. This will be the first personal foul on Banton. Team foul number 4. Free throws coming up for Kamar McKnight.
He's taking advantage of the freshman right there. Drives him hard to the basket, gives him a hard shot fake, and Banton not disciplined yet enough to stay on the floor, be the second guy off the floor defensively there. And McKnight, again, hard guy to keep out of the paint.
He's off to a good start tonight as he knocks down his free throw. He has a team-high 6 points. I'll make it 7.
We talk about McKnight getting in the paint, you know, back to our keys of the game. I think Coach Stansbury would rather live with that than give up a lot of three-point attempts early, and he's done that so far. So far, only 3 attempts for TSU from behind the arc. So that part of their defensive game plan executed very well so far.
Smith floats one in the paint to Horton, who is fouled. They will call this on Damari Moore. That's now the 10th foul on Tennessee State, second personal foul on Moore. Shots coming up here for Horton.
As a coach, 9 minutes to go in the first half, and you got a thin bench. Not a good feeling if you're Penny Collins already in the double bonus. Got to find a way to slow these guys down from getting in the paint, creating fouls.
And if you're Western Kentucky, your game plan is going the way you want it to.
Exactly right. We've already talked about defensive keys. They execute on that end of the floor, and that's the #1 thing that Coach wanted to do is establish a presence, be aggressive, and get to the free throw line. So on either end of the floor, got to feel good about how these Hilltoppers have started.
9:10 to play in the first half. 23-17 lead for the Hilltoppers. There's the second triple of the night for Tennessee State. Timeout taken by Penny Collins. So they average 11 per game. That's their second of the night.
Well, if you're West Kentucky, you just can't give up that one right there. In transition, not getting back and matched up and locating these guys in transition. And McKnight just counts the seams and got all day to shoot that one. They're going to make that shot every time. As good a shooting team as they are, you cannot give them the easy ones like that possession there. And you don't want them to have too many of those early because that's what builds confidence. So far, they've been able to do it, but Coach's not going to like what he saw on that last possession.
10 points already for McKnight. What have you seen from him?
Just an inside-out attack. He's a hard guy to keep out of the paint because he's so strong. He's low to the ground. He's aggressive, and he's experienced. And that's TSU is going to continue to look to him to get this offense going.
Big Red likes what he sees so far with a 3-point lead for Western Kentucky.
Think Big Red could guard Charles Bassey one-on-one inside?
I don't think so.
I don't know.
What about you?
Might need a double team. Might need a little help.
So here's Hollingsworth, as Jay alluded to, around tip-off. He will be running the point guarding duties tonight. Here's Murray directing traffic. Hilltoppers not on the same page on this possession so far with under 5 to shoot. Murray double teamed in the high post, 2 seconds, 1 second. He gets a shot off, rebound underneath by Chafee.
Not sure TSU, that's part of their game plan. I know they want to go double team Charles Bassey, but I'm not sure they don't want to leave Murray alone one-on-one. But it worked out for him that time as they forced him to take a tough shot.
What a play by Dante Fitzpatrick Dorsey. Got the steal and the layup. 4 points for the Tigers, leading scorer. Here's Anderson, the sophomore from Baton Rouge. Bassey with a bullet pass underneath to Savage, who was fouled.
Great cut by Savage, and the big fella showing the ability to step out, handle the ball a little bit. Thread the needle on the backdoor cut.
Timeout call on the floor. Right now, Penny Collins is absolutely livid with the officials. So as they discuss it, we'll take a break as well. With 8 minutes to play in the first half, Western Kentucky lead 23-22 over Tennessee State. We'll be back to Dillon Arena after this. Welcome back to Diddle Arena. Western Kentucky in front of Tennessee State 23-22 in the 9th meeting all time between these two programs. Western Kentucky leads the series 8-0. Been a little bit since they last played 2011 in Bowling Green. A close game. Hilltoppers won that night 52-49. There's Penny Collins. He got warm during that timeout. He did not care for the call against Fitzpatrick Dorsey to put Jared Savage to the free throw line. So no technical, just a warning.
Yeah, he's counting fouls right now. It's 8-2 in the Hilltoppers' favor. And he's letting those officials know what the count is over there. Try to work them a little bit. Get a call coming up.
Jared Savage knocks down his first free throw. What a find he is for Western Kentucky. First season playing for the Hilltoppers.
Great pickup of the transfer market and making an impact early in this season.
Under 8 to play in the first half. It is a 3-point lead for the Hilltoppers. Intercepted by Anderson. Anderson with a 3-on-1. Savage can't finish, and a foul was called. So loud in here, it's hard to hear the whistle, but Savage going back to the line.
Turned up the pressure again on the man-to-man defense. McKnight leaves his feet to make the pass. Always a cardinal sin for a ball handler, and leads to another chance at the free throw line here for Savage.
Foul was charged to Morris, his first personal. Savage is from Bowling Green, went to high school right down the road at Warren Central High School. His dad, Jermaine, played basketball at Austin Peay. Savage with 9 points tonight to lead Western Kentucky. Morris pass on the baseline off the fingertips of Chafee. It stays with the Tigers. So Tennessee State, scout on them was they love to shoot threes. 67 triples made this season, 13th in the country, first in the OVC. So far tonight, they've only attempted 4, 2 of 4 from downtown.
You know, they don't have an inside scoring presence. So if you can guard the three-point line, you know, their guards can penetrate and get in the paint, but they don't have a big guy that can just hurt you on the block. So if you can guard that three-point line, you don't have to worry about getting beat inside.
Here's Savage starting to heat up. Will pull up from 15. Anderson almost was able to tap it in. Skips out of bounds in the corner. Hilltopper basketball.
It was almost a highlight right there from
Really
Anderson.
was.
He came out of nowhere, headed to the offensive glass, and just couldn't quite finish it, but I like that aggressiveness.
Both teams shooting the ball very well. Over 50% for both teams.
Coach Stansbury calling a set play, see what kind of action we can get.
Savage got his 3 blocks by Moore. It's the 3rd block in the first half for the Tigers. Ekbuda's back on the floor for Tennessee State. He picked up 2 fouls early. He sat on the bench for a little bit. Now he's back out on the floor with 6:30 to go. Under 10 for Morris. Morris to Fitzpatrick Dorsey. A deep 3 for him. Offensive rebound, Chafee. Chafee has been everywhere for the Tigers in this first half. He's got 6 points and 7 boards.
Very active and athletic young man. Plays extremely hard, tough to keep off the glass.
Savage knocked it out of bounds. He landed awkwardly, and he appears to be okay for the Hilltoppers.
Great hustle, almost another chance for a cheap transition bucket.
.6:03 to play in the first half. It's a 3-point lead for West Kentucky. Tennessee State coming off of a loss at Kentucky. West Kentucky, first home game in 3 weeks, is a foul. This will be the 5th foul on the Hilltoppers.
See a little bit of the dribble penetration we talked about right there. Weave action by the Tigers, trying to get something going downhill towards the basket.
Foul was charged to Anderson, his 2nd personal. McKnight tried to thread the needle. Fitzpatrick Dorsey picks it up at midcourt. His pass is out of the reach of Ekbuda. Another turnover on the Tigers. That's their 7th.
Probably should have stopped and pulled up for the jump shot there in the paint instead of trying to force.
West Kentucky, they have not scored in over 2 minutes. No field goals in 4 minutes. So what have you seen from the Hilltoppers offensively the past 4 minutes?
Inability to get Charles the ball inside like they want to do. The Tennessee State post defenders being very, very physical with Charles, pushing him far away from the basket. So just got to be more patient, let the offense come, and not force as many jump shots and settle for those early in the clock.
Murray finds Savage. Savage on the drive, got fouled again.
You have to honor that shot by Savage. He's such a good three-point shooter. And you have to run at him and make him put it on the floor. And he's showing the ability there to shot fake, be disciplined enough to go in the paint strong, and again get himself to the foul line.
Savage in his first season is already playing a ton. He leads Conference USA in minutes played, 37 minutes per game to start this season. 10 points tonight to lead all scorers.
Always look at that stat, minutes played. That tells you a lot about what the coaching staff thinks of this young man. He's leading his team in minutes. That means they want him out there doing things that he can do on both ends of the floor.
5-point lead for the Hilltoppers. And a turnover, rather another illegal screen called on Henderson. That's the 2nd time that's been called on him tonight. And West Kentucky will get it right back up by 5. So now the Hilltoppers are approaching almost 6 minutes without a field goal.
See if we get a set play.
In the paint to Bassey, who's fouled by Henderson. Whether they hit him with a turnover.
Yeah, picked that back foot up before he put the ball down. In a little bit of a hurry there, big fella.
Not a lot of minutes so far for Bassey in this first half. 10 minutes with 3 points. Here's McKnight. He's got a team high 10 points. Offensive foul on McKnight, shoved off of Savage. His second personal foul. Right now, both teams have gone ice cold from the floor. Nobody has scored in 2.5 minutes.
Not a lot of flow offensively here these last few possessions for either squad. And that time McKnight just a little bit too strong. Got him with a push off.
Hollingsworth tees up a 3 and he's hit. Rather, it's an offensive foul. It's on Hollingsworth.
Wow.
The official said he kicked out with his right leg.
Well, I don't like the shot. It's too early in the clock. You mentioned we haven't scored in a long time. You know, you want to get something going to the basket. So as a shooter, jumping up, maybe trying to kick that leg out, draw the foul, and the official gets him for the offensive. I haven't seen that call much, and the fans here at Diddle Arena do not like it.
4.5 to play. First half, and another turnover. This one goes against Egbuda. 10 turnovers now against the Tigers. They average 16 a game.
Both teams trying to do too much too soon in the offense.
Dangerous pass to Bassey that's intercepted by Egbuda. McKnight finishes with a left hand and count it.
McKnight so strong, go up in the paint, ability to take the contact and still finish. And he is driving the engine for the Tigers so far offensively.
First point scored by either team in over 3 minutes.
Wow. And all started with the ill-advised pass by Tavion Hollingsworth, led to the transition opportunity for the Tigers.
So here is Kamar McKnight. He's from Toronto, Canada. Played 2 seasons at Georgia Highlands Community College. Here's Hollingsworth. Beats Bassey. Bassey's almost triple teamed. He lost it out of bounds.
Swarm of Tigers. I tell you, they're not going to let him just turn and operate when he catches it deep. So big fella's got to keep the ball off the floor, keep his eyes up, kick that ball out, find these open shooters when the double team comes.
What do you think of Hollingsworth so far in the job he's done running the point?
Well, he's a scorer by trade and not a natural point guard, and probably thinking, I'd like to get a couple more shots off here. And matter of fact, he's forced a couple jumpers early in some possessions. Just kind of, you know, let the offense come to him a little bit.
Savage launches a 3. Rebound Moore. Moore outlet to Egbuda. Rebound underneath for Nelson. Bassey taps it to Murray, who is fouled.
Wow. What a touch pass by Charles Bassey. Rewarding Deshaun Murray for running the floor. Intentional foul on the Tigers.
Diddle Arena loves it. Coach Collins and Coach Stansberry went to midcourt and we're having a conversation. And I think the officials are going to look at this and see if this is a flagrant. But Murray was hit pretty hard on the way up. A timeout called on the floor with 3:43 to play in the first half. Western Kentucky leads Tennessee State 29-26. Back after this to Diddle Arena. Welcome back to Diddle Arena. 3-point lead for Western Kentucky. Going back through that sequence for Deshaun Murray. A flagrant 1 has been called on Tennessee State.
Look at Deshaun Murray running the floor. Excellent touch pass from Bassey, showing the skill and rewarding his partner for running hard in transition. And, you know, the Hilltoppers struggling to score here in the half court. This kind of opportunity, maybe get them going a little bit, get some offense off their defense, get out and run.
Also, just trying to get the crowd into it. The sellout crowd at Diddle Arena, only the second home game this season.
Murray almost brought the house down with the flush, unable to finish.
Deshaun Murray. 9 points tonight for Murray. Coming off a game in which he's had 11 points and 1 rebound last time out at Indiana State. Four lead changes, 1 tie so far in this first half. Western Kentucky's led by as much as 7. Tennessee State is led by as much as 3. Bassett calling for it, turns and fires. Knocked out of bounds off of the Hilltoppers. Tennessee State basketball.
Charles unable to finish there, but I like that shot. Turn, no dribble, find his target, shoot quick before the double team can arrive.
Hilltoppers have missed their last 5 shots, no field goals in over 7 minutes, but they still lead 31-26.
Making a living at the free throw line so far.
13 of 17 from the stripe. Chaney cranks a 3. Offensive rebound for Moore. And Fitzpatrick Dorsey is able to finish it off.
A little miscommunication there by the Hilltoppers on the ball screen. Lucky not to give up the 3-point shot on that possession. But unable to finish the possession with a rebound. First look at a press defense by the Tigers, and Deshaun Murray missed a chance to hit big Charles Bassey underneath the basket for an easy 2.
He immediately knew it too. He tapped his chest and told Bassey, my bad. Step back 3 for Hollingsworth. Ring it up for Tavion Hollingsworth.
He knew he wasn't going to stay quiet all night. He's struggled offensively early, hadn't been able to find his shot, and you know, you can't keep a good player like him down for very long.
Fitzpatrick Dorsey blocked by Bassey. Fitzpatrick Dorsey thought it was goaltending, but that's what Charles Bassey does.
Ignites the transition. And again, the Hilltoppers find themselves at the free throw line. Tennessee State unable to get back and keep Hollingsworth out of the paint.
Foul charged on Chaney, his second personal. More free throws coming up for the Hilltoppers. 13 of 17 in the first half compared to 2 out of 3 for Tennessee State.
Well, Coach Stansbury wanted to live at the free throw line. So far, he's been able to do that. Tennessee State gonna be in some serious trouble here. They don't find a way to keep the Hilltoppers off the line. Maybe gonna have to show some zone defense to sit back and be less aggressive.
Are you surprised the Tigers have only attempted 6 threes so far?
I am. I know that was a focus for Coach Stansbury's defense, but surprised that they've been able to execute that well.
Largest lead in the game for Western Kentucky.
Here comes a little bit of the zone that Coach talked about. Keep this Tigers team off balance.
A turnover. Savage with a steal. Finds Hollingsworth. Hollingsworth to Nelson. Can't hold on to it. Back-to-back turnovers.
Another missed opportunity in transition, but again, it starts with the defense. Forced to turnover deep in the corner, and the Hilltoppers able to get out and run. And, you know, as we're struggling here to score in the half court, that's what they've got to look to do.
Kamora McKnight brings the ball up the floor. He's got a game-high 12 points. Ekbuda, another block for Bassey. Bassey underneath, it's over his head. Another turnover on the Hilltoppers. That's their 8th.
Coach Stansbury not in love with that turnover, but you can live with that because they're playing aggressive.
Yeah.
Ignited the fast break again with the Bassey block, and if that pass is completed, it's an easy 2. So you can live with that kind of turnover as long as your team's playing hard on the defensive end and being aggressive in transition.
Fitzpatrick Dorsey on the drive. He's fouled. This will be the 8th foul on the Hilltoppers.
Talked about him being a key for the Tigers before the game offensively. Slow start for Fitzpatrick Dorsey.
He's got 8 points. His first trip to the foul line for the Ole Miss transfer. Played 2 years in Oxford, where he averaged 3 points a game. But he is really having a fantastic junior season for the Tigers, averaging a team best 16%. A minute 23 to play in the first half. Western Kentucky in front of Tennessee State, 36-29.
More full court defense from Tennessee State. See how the Hilltoppers able to handle this without a true point guard on the floor.
Foul goes against Murray, an illegal screen on him. That is the 9th foul on Western Kentucky. And for Deshaun Murray, his second personal. One player we have not called much tonight is Trip Davis. He's averaging 10 points a game, but the eye-popping number, he's shooting 70% from downtown. This season, he's 16 out of 23. He hasn't even attempted a shot tonight.
Well, the young man certainly one of the best shooters in the country so far early in this season, and certainly a focus of the Hilltoppers defense.
Do you ever have a stretch where you shot 70%
Yeah.
downtown?
Yeah, in my driveway when nobody else was guarding.
Here's Moore with a lob, way off the mark. 12th turnover on the Tigers. Bassey tries to thread the needle. Knocked out of bounds by Moore. It sticks with the Hilltoppers.
I tell you, you've got to really throw that pass high to get it over Egbuda's head, because he is an incredible athlete, and that time right there, the pass just too tough to handle. And I'd like to see Big Charles Bassey there give the ball up and get it back in transition instead of leading the break in the middle of the floor.
Timeout called by Penny Collins. We'll keep it here with 48 seconds to play in the first half. Western Kentucky in front 36-29. So it seems like both teams have been able to go on runs here and there. Impressions of the first half with 48 seconds left?
Well, you know, I'd like to think TSU try to go 2 for 1 here. They've got the ball, going to call a timeout, set up a play, try to get a quick score. That way they know they get the ball back for at least the last shot here going into halftime.
Sellout crowd tonight at Diddle Arena. Tonight, Western Kentucky is celebrating the all-century team for Western Kentucky. A lot of the former players throughout the years on campus tonight will be honored at halftime. Players ranging back from the 1930s to present day.
I'm sorry, I thought it was Tigers ball. Hilltoppers actually with the ball coming out of the timeout. See what Coach Stansbury has drawn up.
Hilltoppers tonight 9 of 20 from the field in this first half. Hollingsworth is fouled at the elbow by Egbuda. And Jay, that's something to watch. That's his third.
You know, they don't have a lot of depth, especially inside, and with his third foul, Tigers going to have to get creative.
Tavion Hollingsworth knocks down the first free throw. He's up to 10 points tonight, second topper in double figures. Won a state title in high school. He was Mr. Basketball and the Gatorade Player of the Year in the state of Kentucky. Played in 38 games a season ago, started all of them. That is tied for a program record. So he has made an immediate impact for Western Kentucky in his career.
Yeah, his career's off to a great start. Hasn't been pretty today, but he's getting his numbers.
Yeah, you look down 11 points to lead the Hilltoppers tonight. Got a 12-second difference, game clock, shot clock. What a finish at the rim for Chafee. Chafee up to 8 points.
Nice execution on the ball screen, and Hilltoppers unable to cover up the basket there.
Bassey trying to find Smith, and we got a whistle and a foul, stopping the clock with 5 seconds. And the foul goes on Western Kentucky. It's on Merrick Nelson, his second personal, and this will put the Tigers at the line.
Eric Nelson missed an opportunity there. He tried to force the ball inside. The skip pass was wide open. Savish over there licking his chops, just begging for the skip pass for a wide open three.
Fitzpatrick Dorsey, 1 for 2 from the line tonight, knocks down the first one. He's the OVC Newcomer of the Week in the season opener, November 12th, when he scored a career-high 26 points against the Lipscomb. Goes 2 for 2 from the stripe. 3 seconds, Hollingsworth crosses midcourt, and he cannot attempt a shot to close the first half. That sees Western Kentucky leading Tennessee State at the break, 38-33. We'll step aside and be back after this to Diddle Arena. It's halftime at Diddle Arena. Western Kentucky leads Tennessee State at the break, 38-33. We'll step aside, and when we come back, I had a chance to sit down and visit with Western Kentucky Hall of Famer Kennard Johnson. Played for the Hilltoppers from '84 to '87. Had a big shot in the NCAA tournament to eliminate West Virginia. So when we come back, you'll hear from Kennard Johnson at Diddle Arena when we return.
And now we want to recognize family members. Marcus at All-American Center in 2002.
Welcome back to Diddle Arena, halftime between Western Kentucky and Tennessee State. Happy to be joined by Western Kentucky Hall of Famer Kennard Johnson. And Kennard, first of all, thanks for being with us. But you are back on campus celebrating the All-Century team for basketball. What's it like for you coming back with your whole family here this weekend?
Well, to be part of the All-Century team is an absolute honor. You know, when I got the call about the voting, you know, when you think about 100 years of this university, you know, it's like, how do you pick the top 15 over 100 years, you know? And the first thing that came to my mind was Clem Haskins and Jim McDaniels, most definitely. After that, it's like, I mean, it's like who's who, you know? There's so many great players that have played here before me, during the time I was here, after I've been gone. Courtney Lee, of course, you know, great player that's been here. And when Paul called me the second time through, I was like, no way, you know? And he said, yeah, you're one of the top 15. I was really speechless. I didn't know what to think.
So tell me, when you come back to campus and people come up to you, what do people say to you?
Well, a lot of people, and it's funny, I was just over there doing autographs, and a lot of them see me play. They watch me play. I have people come up to me and say, you were my favorite player. When I played here, I just tried to get the kids, the fans, everything that I have, you know, and I tried to make sure I was doing everything to the best of my abilities, and it worked out pretty good for me.
Tell me about your game-winning shot against West Virginia in the NCAA tournament.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. You know, that was still to this day, I don't know how I got that shot up, you know, because I was up under the basket when it happened. And the play actually was designed for Brett McNeil to come off a screen and get a shot off. But I sort of started arguing with my teammates, and it kind of just drew the attention away from me. And then I jumped in front of the guy, and Tellus Frank saw me. And the rest is history there, you know. But it was good. I'm glad we won that one.
Yeah, that's awesome. That is Western Kentucky Athletic Hall of Famer Kennard Johnson. Kennard, thanks for the time.
I appreciate it
tonight.
I will.
Welcome back to Diddle Arena. Halftime, Western Kentucky leads Tennessee State 38-33. Western Kentucky 9 of 20 from the field in the first half, 45%, 3 of 7 from three-point territory, 43%, 17 of 21 from the free throw line, 81%. Tennessee State 13 of 25 from the floor, 52%, 2 of 6 from three-point territory, 5 of 7 from the free throw line. Tennessee State is out rebounding Western Kentucky 16-12, 10 turnovers against the Hilltoppers, 12 turnovers against Tennessee State. Savage and Hollingsworth have 11 points to lead the Hilltoppers. On the other side, Fitzpatrick, Dorsey, and McKnight have 12 and 11 points to lead Tennessee State. So what stands out to you after one half of play, Jeff?
Well, it's been all guard play. In Western Kentucky, wanted to establish Charles Bassey early in the game, get him some post touches. They've been unable to do that. He's only got 2 shots so far. But you've got Jared Savage and Tavion Hollingsworth both in double figures. And for the Tigers, they come into the game among the nation's leaders in 3-pointers made per game, unable to get the 3-point attack going. But you've got Kamar McKnight and Dante Fitzpatrick Dorsey both in double figures. So the big guys on either team unable to get it going, but guards stepping up, making things happen. Haven't been a lot of flow offensively to this game. Sloppy play, a lot of fouls, a lot of turnovers. The difference so far has been Western Kentucky's ability to get to the line. 21 attempts. So they're doing a great job of getting themselves to the free throw line, but also taking advantage of those opportunities.
5-point lead for the Hilltoppers at halftime. We'll step aside and come back with the start of the second half. Getting ready for the start of the second half between Western Kentucky and Tennessee State. 3-point lead for the Hilltoppers. Tigers will have the basketball to begin the second half. Fitzpatrick Dorsey with 11 points in that first half. Picks up his dribble. He's in trouble as he finds more. Dorsey goes up and it's blocked by Bassey. Then they say it's goaltending. So count the basket. 13 points now for Fitzpatrick Dorsey.
Great move, and big Charles Bassey just erased it.
Tennessee State. Neither one of these teams has played in about a week. Both teams looking pretty sharp tonight. Tennessee State had their shoot around in Nashville before making the trip to Bowling Green. Murray on the drive, misses, put back no good. Chafee with a board. Chafee with a game high 8 rebounds. Fitzpatrick Dorsey missed the layup, but an offensive foul was called on Chafee. This will be the first foul on Tennessee State.
Fitzpatrick Dorsey very aggressive here. The first 2 possessions made a couple of great moves, get in the paint, and unable to finish either one.
Three-point lead for the Hilltoppers. Anderson finds Murray. Murray with a soft touch at the rim, got the friendly roll. 11 points for Murray, 3rd Hilltopper in double digits. Here's McKnight. Tigers being very aggressive, trying to drive to the basket to begin this second half.
They'd like to get their free throw opportunities early in this half, like the Hilltoppers were able to do in the first.
Step back 3 for McKnight. Rebound belongs to Murray, his 5th. Murray in the paint to Bassey, who is fouled. And Jay, this is one to watch. That's the 4th foul on Chafee.
Not a good sign for the Tigers early on. All 4 post players for the Tigers came into the second half with at least 2 fouls, and Chafee picking up the 4th. He's going to have to sit for a long time.
So the Tigers will send in Dejon Henderson. Henderson played 3 minutes in the first half, but he picked up 2 fouls. Hollingsworth around the screen, set for Bassey, tees up a 3 and nails it.
It's a great job by Hollingsworth reading the ball screen, and for a player like that, that's just too much separation.
Game high 14 points for Hollingsworth tonight. Here's Chaney, the senior from Chicago, Illinois, with a nice pass to Henderson, who just checked in, can't hold on to it. 13 turnover on the Tigers.
If I'm Coach Stansberry, I'm going to put Henderson in that ball screen situation as many times as I can early here in the second half. Make the big fella come out and guard that.
Bassey, triple team, will float one up. Off the mark, put back is good and count it. Deshaun Murray, he is listed at 6'4", and he is a monster in the paint.
Well, with him offensively, it's never going to be pretty. Coach Stansbury talked about that before the game. He's not a natural, skilled perimeter player. So when they play 4 out offensively around Charles Bassey, that's not the most natural thing for Deshaun. But he's making his presence felt early in the second half with some hustle plays, getting to the offensive glass and scoring around the basket.
Hilltoppers on a 7-0 run to begin this second half. What have you seen there? As Fitzpatrick Dorsey gets it swatted out of bounds by Anderson. That's the 6th block tonight for the Hilltoppers, who lead Conference USA. They average 5 a game.
It's a big defensive stat for them. And that time weren't able to ignite the fast break, but that's happened several times already tonight where we get a block shot that leads to a transition opportunity.
Moore adjusted midair, can't finish. Hollingsworth in the corner, and a foul's been called on the Tigers. Foul goes on Fitzpatrick Dorsey.
Moore didn't get the finish there, and not a block shot, but perhaps felt the presence of Big Charles Bassey in the middle and altered that shot a little bit.
That's what 6 blocks can do for the West Kentucky defense. Timeout called on the floor. We'll take one with them. 17:06 to play in the second half. 10-point lead for the Hilltoppers, their largest of the night. 10-point lead for the Hilltoppers with 17:05 to play in the second half. 6 blocks tonight for Western Kentucky, showing why they lead Conference USA in that department, Jay.
Yeah, there's another one by Anderson, and just making it difficult for those penetration opportunities for TSU.
Anderson hasn't scored tonight, but he's making an impact in other ways for the Hilltoppers.
Coach Stansbury talked about him early in the game, before the game. And he's been playing point guard for these first several games for the Hilltoppers, and just decided to move him off the ball a little bit in hopes that he could get going a little bit offensively, do some of the things that he does well. And unfortunately, hadn't been able to get that going tonight. But Jared Savage and Tavion Hollingsworth been able to pick up that slack offensively. There he goes to the basket.
And he picks up his first 2 points of the night. He
Right
is
on cue.
talented, Jay. I mean, he averaged 8 points a game as a true freshman a season ago.
He's a slasher, he's aggressive, and I think that's what Coach would like to see more of, him putting the ball on the floor and getting to the paint and creating those slash opportunities.
Murray punches it out of bounds. Stays with Tennessee State, who has not scored in almost 3 minutes. Tigers are 1 for 5 from the field to begin this second half. McNair ends up to Fitzpatrick Dorsey, and it stays with Tennessee State with 11 on the shot clock.
The kind of start you want if you're Rick Stansbury to this second half. Stretch the lead out a little bit, some key stops defensively, and hope to get a little bit of breathing room here as the second half unfolds.
McKnight turns the corner and finishes with a left hand. What a night he is having.
When he gets that shoulder by you, he is tough to stop going to the basket like that. So strong.
He's got 14 to lead all scorers. Savage trying to get going in the second half. Too strong, offensive rebound for Murray. Murray with a no-look pass to Bassey.
Murray again cleaning up the trash on the offensive glass, and unselfish interior pass to Charles, and get the crowd on his feet a little bit. Now they want another stop. They want more.
Largest lead of the night for West Kentucky. Moore bumped and fouled by Murray on his journey to the bucket. First team foul on Western Kentucky. Third personal foul on Deshaun Murray. And this will take us to the media timeout with 15:42 to play in the second half. 12-point lead for Western Kentucky.
We've got 2 contestants. We'll see who can bring the most middle in 30 seconds.
49-37 lead for West Kentucky over Tennessee State with 15:43 to play in the second half. Let's go back to this sweet pass from Deshaun Murray.
Deshaun Murray making his presence felt on the offensive glass early in this second half, doing the dirty work, and finish it off for me, big fella. Big Charles all too happy to oblige.
Murray has a team high 7 boards tonight as the first free throw is good by Moore, the junior from Brooklyn, New York. Moore played his freshman season at Southeastern Iowa Community College, then last year at Southwest Tennessee Community College in Memphis. Moore hasn't scored his last 2 games prior to tonight. Those are his first 2 points this evening. Here's Anderson, glides to the bucket, scoop and score.
Wow, what an acrobatic finish by Anderson. And again, off to a slow start offensively tonight, but here in the second half, a couple of nice slashes to the basket, able to finish there through the contact.
Touched on Anderson earlier, the sophomore from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Played at Madison Prep High School. Anderson completes a 3-point play. He's got 5 points. Does he look more comfortable to you?
That play right there, that's what he does. He gets the ball in his hands and attacks the basket strong. Without him having to play the point tonight, maybe doesn't have to think too much and just does what comes naturally to him.
That 3 is off the mark. Tennessee State just 2 of 8 from downtown tonight. Hasn't made one yet in the second half. Savage misses the 3, but Murray is there to clean it up.
Tigers got to put a body on Murray. He's eating him alive on the offensive glass.
Got a game high 15 points and 8 rebounds. Littlejohn finds Cummings for 3. That's what Tennessee State wants to see right there, more 3s.
A little bit of trap there in the half court by the Hilltoppers, and the Tigers able to move the ball around till they find the open man and finally get one to drop.
It's only the second 3 this season made for Daniel Cummings. Hollingsworth with an answer. His foot was on the line. It's a 2.
It's a bad close out there by Littlejohn. He's out of control and got to chop his feet and get his weight back. Instead, out of control, and Hollingsworth takes advantage.
McKnight on the drive, again hangs in the air and banks it in. How athletic is McKnight? He's got 16.
So tough going to his left. You got to force him to put the ball on the floor with his right hand. He gets to that left, it's almost a done deal.
Anderson finds Hollingsworth for 3. Fitzpatrick Dorsey with a board. He lost it, taps it in the corner to McKnight. And one opportunity for McKnight, who's taken over for Tennessee State.
He's keeping them in it. The Hilltoppers threatening to run away with this thing with a quick burst, and Kamar McKnight trying to keep these Tigers hanging around.
Game high 18 points tonight for Kamar McKnight. He has a chance to tie his career high. One thing to watch, Charles Bassey off the floor for the Hilltoppers. Matt Horton is now in. Horton 4 points in 4 minutes in the first half. As McKnight hits the free throw, so game high 19 points for him to tie his career high. West Kentucky is led by as much as 15 in the 9th meeting all time between these 2 schools. Horton is double teamed, under 10 to shoot. Anderson goes back to Horton. Nice give and go action as Anderson is fouled.
Defender turned his head, and Josh Anderson heads up, cut to the basket.
Anderson 1 for 1 at the line tonight. The All-Century team honored during halftime at Diddle Arena. Another sellout crowd tonight. Coach Stansberry told us he got to meet E.A. Diddle's daughter in a shooting round earlier today. It's the first time he got to meet Coach Diddle's daughter. He said it was a special moment for him.
It is a reminder of what a great tradition we've had here over the years at West Kentucky. neat deal for those families and those players to come back and be remembered today.
When Coach Diddle retired, his 759 wins were most by a college coach at the time. Coach Diddle, he was a busy man, Jay. He coached football, baseball, and women's basketball.
Hard to do
at the
today,
same time.
Yeah, that's multitasking at its finest.
He's a busy man for sure. Under 13 minutes to play in the second half. An 11-point lead for the Hilltoppers. Here's Moore underneath. And Horton turns it over. Horton and Hollingsworth just not on the same page.
Well, that's not a bad possession for the Tigers, you know, against his own defense. They moved the ball, got the shot they wanted, but it was, again, the shot blocking ability of the Hilltoppers, just able to cover up for some defensive mistakes. It's a nice luxury to have as a coach.
A foul on Horton's on the inbounds play. This will be the third foul on Western Kentucky. First personal foul on Horton.
A little bit too aggressive there. Just gonna let that one go.
A win tonight, by the way, for Western Kentucky. Still got a ways to go, but a victory for the Hilltoppers would be number 600 all-time at Diddle Arena. Jay said, very historic arena here. There's an air ball in the corner by Littlejohn. Here's Hollingsworth. Hollingsworth was able to find Smith, and Smith, with a nice footwork, was able to lay it up and in.
Nice job by the big fella, being under control, not getting in a hurry, shot fake, and get the defender off his feet, and going up strong off the glass.
Smith hadn't scored the last 2 games. His first 2 points of the night there for the Hilltoppers. Fitzpatrick Dorsey from 15. Hollingsworth just took a vicious shot. He's still on the ground here for the Hilltoppers. Corner 3 by Trip Davis is off the mark, but he's fouled.
Josh Anderson committing the cardinal sin defensively there, fouling the jump shooter. You never want to do that. Make him take a tough shot. They're going to check on Tavion Hollingsworth here. Take a hard fall. It looks to be okay, but scary moment there.
Tennessee State does have a player in the corner as well being looked at by the training staff as Trip Davis, his first free throw attempt of the night, is off the mark. We touched on Davis earlier. He's shooting 70% from downtown. He's just 3 of 5 from the free throw line this season.
Shooting better from the three-point line than he is from the free throw line. It's an unusual stat. Been on fire from downtown in the early part of this season and been held in check tonight. Great job by Western Kentucky defense, keeping his opportunities limited.
Delano Banton now in the game for Western Kentucky. Banton played 5 minutes in the first half. A turnover. McKnight with a steal, and McKnight blows the layup, but the putback is good by Fitzpatrick Dorsey, who now has 15 points.
As soon as the Hilltoppers looking like they may stretch this lead out a little bit, the Tigers keep hanging around.
Foul by Trip Davis as he bumped into Jared Savage. 7th foul on Tennessee State. 2nd personal foul on Trip Davis. Media timeout. 9-point lead for Western Kentucky. Back after this to Diddle Arena. 60-51 lead for Western Kentucky with 11:44 to play in the second half. Alongside former Mississippi State Bulldog Jay Walton, I'm Graham Doty. Happy to have you with us tonight. Only the 2nd home game this season for the Hilltoppers. Team coaches were excited to play in front of their home fans. In a packed house tonight at Diddle Arena. Coach Stansberry asked him at shoot-around, have you ever had an experience like this in the past where he didn't have a home game for 3 weeks and he couldn't remember anything off the top of his head?
Yeah, it's highly unusual. It's a long time to be away from home, and you knew this crowd would be excited today, and they're just waiting for the knockout punch right now. And then so far, Hilltoppers been unable to deliver that. It's had a couple opportunities to expand this lead here over the last several possessions, and Tennessee State just keeps hanging around. And with a team the way that shoots the ball the way they do, they always got a puncher's chance.
Tennessee State from downtown tonight, just 3 of 10. 1 of 4 in the second half. as Jared Savage is at the free throw line, where he's been fantastic tonight. He is now 7 for 7.
And if you're Western Kentucky, you want to remain disciplined defensively and stay with those three-point shooters. Don't let them get loose for a little mini run that lets them hang around and cut into this lead even more.
I asked Coach Collins, is this the type of team that you want to build for the future for Tennessee State, to shoot and make a lot of threes? And he said, I'm not really sure. He said, this team shoots a lot of threes because we have a lot of guys that can make it. You certainly see that with Tennessee State, 13th in the country as far as made threes go. Tigers going to the free throw line here. That's the 15th foul on the Hilltoppers.
Having played at Belmont, he certainly, comes from that kind of background. A lot of three-point shots, a lot of early offense, and this year he's got the makeup of his squad to do that.
Well, there wasn't a shooting foul. It was the first personal foul on Tolu Smith. Under 10 to shoot. Fitzpatrick Dorsey in trouble on the baseline a little bit. Kicks it out with under 2 to shoot. Little John counts if it goes. Can't hit. Rebound Savage, his second.
Zone defense by the Hilltoppers on that possession, slowed the Tigers down a little bit, and they were unable to get the ball inside the zone. Settle for a three-point shot, but not the kind of three-point look that they want to get.
Hilltoppers have connected on 5 of their last 7 shots. Savage is fouled by Littlejohn. This will be the 8th foul on the Tigers, first personal on Littlejohn.
Foul number 1, Michael Littlejohn, his first.
1-and-1 coming up for Jared Savage. As Emmanuel Egbuda back in the game for Tennessee State. One to watch. He's got 4 fouls.
Has not been able to get on track tonight, and one of the most incredible athletes you'll see on any level. There's not a more athletic young man on any roster throughout the country. Unable to put that on display so far tonight, but saw in warm-ups.
Yeah,
doing some damage.
If you want
to
to
the
see
rim.
a show, watch him in warm-ups for Tennessee State. Littlejohn for 3. Rebound Smith. Banton finds Hollinsworth. Savage desperately calling for it. Hilltoppers don't feed him. Savage now gets it, shoots a 3. Put back by Horton, can't go, but a foul underneath on Tennessee State.
That's a great job by Smith. And a lot of young players can do that against a double team. He recognized a double team, dribbled his way out of it. 2 passes later, Savage with a wide open 3 on the backside of the floor. Didn't knock it down, but that's great offense, especially from the young big man Smith.
Matt Horton at the stripe. He's 2 of 4 tonight. How about Horton? He's played 7 minutes off the bench and in his spots. He's done a nice job tonight filling in for Charles Bassey.
Well, nice blocks defensively, and good fellow wants a little bit more playing time, I think.
Yeah, last time he played, only 2 minutes against Valpo on November 15th. Off the mark on his first free throw. Horton played at Paul Bryan High School in Tuscaloosa. Goes 0 for 2 from the stripe. McKnight for 3. He continues his big evening. He's up to 22 points.
Well, that's the 3 that you want to get back defensively in transition, not allow the Tigers to take.
Here's the true freshman, Banton. He's one of 3 players tonight from Toronto, Canada. As Hollinsworth on the drive, misses the floater. Put back by Smith is off the mark. Rebound by Davis. McKnight scoops one up. Got it to go again. Wow, he's unbelievable.
Really doing a great job of living on the interior of this Western Kentucky defense. And that time getting it done in transition.
Hilltoppers no field goals in over 3 minutes.
Second long drought offensively for the Hilltoppers tonight.
They didn't have a field goal in over 7 minutes in the first half, and Smith changes that there for Western Kentucky.
Great move and under control, not rushing it, taking his time, soft touch on the finish. Coach Stansbury liking what he's seeing from the big young fella.
Corner 3 for Davis. He's off the mark. A rare miss from him from downtown. Banton kicks it to Hollingsworth. Hollingsworth underneath to Smith. So Smith, who was scoreless the last 2 games, he's got 6 points tonight.
Coach wanted to get him involved, and so far in this second half, been able to do just that.
Fitzpatrick Dorsey misses a bunny, tapped out of bounds off of Western Kentucky. Fresh shot clock coming up for Tennessee State.
Coach, words before the game was, you know, when we get this young man going, he's going to be something really special. And just playing alongside of Charles Bassey early in the season, hasn't been able to get in an offensive flow, but tonight, being able to get that done in the second half.
Penny Collins thought that should have been a foul called. It stays with the Tigers, though, and now Coach Collins will get his wish. The Tigers going to the line. So Penny Collins grew up in Memphis, Tennessee, hence the nickname Penny. Penny Hardaway from Memphis, Memphis Tiger.
Imagine a lot of young men that grew up in Memphis around that time would love to have been called Penny.
Penny Collins said people called him Little Penny growing up. What a great player to look up to growing up in your own city. Now Penny Hardaway, the head coach at the University of Memphis, off to a solid start.
2 head coaches named Penny in state. I wonder if we'll see a matchup between
they gotta
the
play
Tigers
each other.
and all the Pennies coming up soon.
Coach Stansbury will send in 3 of his starters tonight, and Bassey, Murray, and Anderson.
Crowd acknowledging Tolu Smith as he exits the game for his contributions these last few possessions. They like what they see, and now let's see if Big Charles Bassey can get more involved offensively, as he's been unable to do that so far tonight.
Yeah, only 5 points tonight and 5 rebounds for Bassey in 21 minutes of action. He has only attempted 4 shots.
Give Tennessee State credit for the way they've guarded him. They have been extremely physical, forcing him away from the basket as far as they can, and intent on letting him catch it and then set a double team.
Like right there, got it at the top of the key, walks and turned it over. 10-point lead for West Kentucky as we reach immediate timeout. 7:53 remaining in the second half. Packed house tonight at Diddle Arena. Hilltoppers lead Tennessee State 68-58 with 7:53 to play in the second half. So West Kentucky trying to bounce back from a loss on the road at Indiana State. Tennessee State lost last time out at Kentucky. Both teams haven't played in about a week, so you know both teams were eager to get back out on the floor tonight.
Yeah, a little bit rusty early in the game, probably because both of them had such a long layoff.
Finals coming up for both of these schools. So that's another week off right there. Finals at West Kentucky begin in 2 weeks. Fitzpatrick Dorsey, and a nice pass that ends up in the corner to Cummings for 3. He made one earlier off the mark there, and a foul underneath on the Tigers. So on Dave Morris, the freshman, his second personal. That's the 10th. So now West Kentucky is in the double bonus, the final 7:37.
17 for 21 in the first half from the line for the Hilltoppers, and able to continue that trend here in the second half. And Jared Savage being very aggressive to the offensive glass and get himself another opportunity. He's been terrific from the foul line tonight and made a living there this evening.
Hilltoppers have more than doubled the free throw attempts tonight than Tennessee State. Hilltoppers now 26 of 33 from the stripe. That's what Coach Stansbury wants to see.
I'll take that every game, trust me.
And with that point, they just announced everybody in Diddle Arena wins a free taco from Taco Bell. Win-win for everybody.
Everybody wins.
Fitzpatrick Dorsey with an and-one opportunity. He fell hard.
He did. What a tough finish, avoiding the block, which Western Kentucky's been able to erase some of those defensive mistakes and the shot blocking ability for most of tonight. That time, Fitzpatrick Dorsey able to get inside and finish strong, but still down on the baseline.
He's tried a couple times to get up, and he just can't do so. Look, he just landed on the back of his head.
Hopefully just got the wind knocked out of him and will be able to bounce back here quickly.
West Kentucky holding on to a 10-point lead, 70-60. We talked about how you're familiar with Penny Collins and his first year at Tennessee State, Belmont, Lipscomb. You played for Rick Stansbury at Mississippi State. What do you remember most at your days at Mississippi State as a player with Rick Stansbury as your coach?
Well, first of all, he was the way he recruited me was incredible. I mean, I grew up a Mississippi State fan, and I would have said yes at the drop of a hat to Mississippi State. But he recruited me like I was a five-star recruit and just made me feel like I was the most important person in the world. And, you know, didn't have to do that for me to sign with Mississippi State, but he did. I mean, he was relentless. He reached out to my parents, to my grandparents, to my high school coach, to my everybody that surrounded me, and what a great recruiter, and has always been able to do that throughout his career, land the talent that it takes to win wherever he's been. And it was kind of as an assistant, Coach Stansbury a lot of times was the good cop. It was a good cop, bad cop relationship with Coach Richard Williams, and now as a head coach, watching him in shoot around today be the bad cop a little bit, that was a little different to see.
What's your favorite Coach Stansbury story?
Probably can't tell it on the air. Yeah, I have to think about that.
First free throw by Fitzpatrick Dorsey is good. So the foul, by the way, was on Anderson, his fourth personal. It's a flagrant. It's the second flagrant foul we've had tonight.
Yeah. And Fitzpatrick Dorsey looks to be okay after the rough fall, so that's good to see.
He's still grimacing a little bit. We'll watch him the rest of the way here for the Tigers, but what a night for Fitzpatrick Dorsey. He's got 19 points. And Coach Stansbury, he didn't like that flagrant call, and he just wants an explanation.
Yeah, just thought his guy was being aggressive, going for the block. Didn't mean any ill toward Tennessee Tiger player.
Tennessee State, they're doing a nice job to hang in there. They trailed by as much as 15 at one point. Tennessee State hasn't had a lead since it was 9-8. A 17-minute point in the first half. McNair on the drive, again finishes. 28 points tonight for McKnight.
Just unable to keep McKnight out of the paint all night. But you know, team that comes in shooting, making 11 threes a game, it's hard to guard that and keep them out of the paint all night as well. And I think Coach Stansbury had to pick one or the other, would much rather give up the penetration to McKnight on occasion than for the Tigers to unleash a three-point barrage.
Third personal foul called on Moore. This will send Deshaun Murray to the line for 2 shots for Western Kentucky. So Tennessee State in the middle of a 6-0 run over the past 45 seconds. What have you seen there from the Tigers to go on that run?
Well, they just won't go away. And again, we talked about the Hilltoppers stretching the lead out a little bit, but unable to deliver the knockout punch to Tennessee State. And a lot of that has to do with McKnight just willing his team to hang around and living in the paint offensively.
Murray connects on the free throw. 2 years at Presbyterian College. Monster numbers there. Average over 20 points a game last year at Auburn. And I think, are we going to have a lane violation? Lane violation called on Tennessee State, so Murray will get another crack at it.
Just mental lapse there by the Tigers. You're trying to hang around this game, stay within striking distance and make a run late. You just can't afford the mental lapse like that at this stage in the game. And Deshaun Murray makes him pay.
Eight-point Hilltopper lead. Morris, air ball by Cummings. Here comes Hollingsworth. Hollingsworth finds Anderson, and Anderson is fouled.
Smart play by Hollingsworth not to force the shot there. You know, his natural instinct is to get in the paint and to make something happen, but he was able to get the defender off his feet. Instead of forcing the shot, find the cutting Anderson there. Hilltoppers again find themselves at the free throw line where they've made an absolute killing tonight.
Anderson, that's his 8th point of the game. Just looks more comfortable out there.
Yeah, didn't get a lot done in the first half, but
Yeah.
here in the second half we've seen him, you know, do the things that coach likes to see. Running the floor hard, attacking the basket, being aggressive.
Off the mark on the free throw, rebound, Chafee. Chafee got off to a torrid start for Tennessee State, but he's got 4 fouls as McKnight is fouled by Bassey. His 2nd personal, 8th foul on the Hilltoppers.
Kamar McKnight again in transition, just putting his head down and driving to the basket. The Hilltoppers got to get around and get some support there on the drive. Just not getting back quick enough in transition and stopping the dribble penetration.
So 2 shots for Kamar McKnight from Toronto, Canada, but he actually played his senior year of high school in Newark, New Jersey, and won a state title. In 2 years of JUCO basketball in Georgia, so he's been all over the place.
And he played a lot of minutes tonight. He barely come off the floor, and you just hope for Tennessee State that he can have enough gas in the tank to finish the game strong, because without him, the Tigers really struggled here offensively in the second half.
Yeah, he's been on the floor every second, except for he's only been out for 90 seconds as Murray can't finish. And
Here he comes again.
Yeah, leads the charge here. Finds Fitzpatrick. Dorsey steps into a 3. Got it to go. The 5th triple of the game for Tennessee State.
2 possessions in a row. The Hilltoppers have not been very good in transition. They give up a penetration 2 possessions ago. That time, not getting back and turning around and matching up to shooters. And Fitzpatrick, Dorsey from the top of the key, just getting these Tigers closer to striking distance here.
3rd personal foul on Morris. 2 free throws coming up for Hollingsworth. Seems like every time Tennessee State finds momentum offensively, they shoot themselves in the foot on defense. Can't quite get that stop yet.
Right, yeah, and it's just their inability to keep the Hilltoppers off the free throw line.
Hollingsworth goes 2 for 2. 5:27 left in the game. 75-68 lead for the Hilltoppers. Fitzpatrick Dorsey just made a 3 this time. He drives and is fouled by Murray.
Then giving up the dribble penetration. He thought he had a clean block, but officials say got him on the arm going up, and I think that's 5 for Deshaun Murray.
It is. So the final line tonight for Deshaun Murray in 25 minutes of action, 17 points and 8 rebounds.
Gonna miss his aggressiveness here down the stretch, and his ability to get to the offensive glass, finish around the basket, been big for the Hilltoppers here, especially in the second.
So who does Coach Stanberry go to here with Murray unavailable the rest of the way? He's getting ready to send in Merrick Nelson.
Thought he might get Tolu Smith back in the game, but maybe, you know, this early in the young man's career, not truly trusting him yet to finish a game here with 5 minutes to go and a slim lead.
Dante Fitzpatrick Dorsey, the junior from Memphis, Tennessee, played at South Point High School, knocks down the first free throw. Other players in foul problems, by the way. Josh Anderson has 4 for Western Kentucky. And Chafee has 4 for Tennessee State.
Chafee back on the floor now to see if he can finish the game without fouling out here. 5 minutes to go.
No field goals in 3.5 minutes for Western Kentucky. Bassey throws it to a spot. Nelson comes up with it. And does he call a timeout? It's a jump ball that's called, and the arrow sticks with the Hilltoppers with 11 to shoot.
Tennessee State going to stick with their game plan to force Bassey as far away from the basket they can and immediately go double team. And you saw right there how quickly that double team came, and Bassey thought he saw a cutter but unable to deliver, and Western Kentucky fortunate not to come up with a turnover there.
Tennessee State, they're not the first team to double Charles Bassey, but how have they been so effective tonight?
Well, they've been very physical, and Charles, is posting up, but he's not catching the ball with 2 feet in the paint. And sometimes as a post player, you've got to work one pass ahead and play away from the ball, wait for it to come back to you, get a deep seal. And the Hilltoppers have been a little bit impatient as far as getting the ball inside tonight. And there's Anderson with another slash to the basket, really getting it going offensively here in the second half.
With the shot clock winding down too, there was 1 second left. He's the 4th Hilltopper in double digits. 7-point Western Kentucky lead and a turnover. Anderson with a steal and the flush.
Josh Anderson with 2 huge possessions of basket right as the shot clock expires, and then the steal and the transition dunk. Fans here in Diddle Arena love to see that. 9-point lead for the Toppers.
Penny Collins, he's not calling a timeout. He's got 2 in his back pocket. He's going to let Tennessee State play. The crowd here at Diddle Arena on their feet making some noise.
A huge possession defensively for Western Kentucky. Let's see if we can come up with a stop here.
This is the loudest Diddle Arena's been all night. McKnight on the drive. Under 10 for Fitzpatrick Dorsey. He finds Chaney, lost it, a turnover. The 15th one tonight against Tennessee State.
Biggest defensive possession of the night for Western Kentucky right there. That's a big stop.
Hilltoppers trying to push this lead back up to double digits. Hollingsworth almost turned it over, misses from 15. Rebound McKnight. McKnight sidesteps Nelson and gets fouled. Immediate timeout called. Diddle Arena popping at the moment with 3:38 left in the second half. 9-point lead for Western Kentucky. Tennessee State at the line when we come back. Welcome back to Diddle Arena. 9-point lead for Western Kentucky with 3:38 left in the game. Diddle Arena, all the fans here love it. Big Red loves it. Especially that steal and the dunk by Josh Anderson to spark this late rally here for the Hilltoppers.
Yeah, Josh Anderson really getting it done there a couple possessions ago. Slashing to the basket, scoring a bucket right there as the shot clock expires, and then offense off the defense. But as has been the case all night long, Kamar McKnight just getting in the paint, finding himself back at the free throw line. 30
points tonight for Kamar McKnight. It's really been a 1-2 punch tonight for the Tigers. McKnight has 30, Fitzpatrick Dorsey has 24.
The rest of their three-point shooters have not been able to get loose, and not enough help so far from the rest of the Tennessee State Tigers.
Hilltoppers milking the clock a little bit as Hollingsworth on the drive. Chafee can't hold on to it for the Tigers. Picked up by Chaney. McKnight drives baseline and another block by Bassey. He finds Savage, a lob to Nelson, and a foul's been called on Fitzpatrick Dorsey.
I don't know about that one. Hilltoppers fortunate right there because they should have been able to complete that 2-on-1 transition opportunity and was bailed out by the whistle.
The foul is actually called on Moore, so his 4th personal.
That time, Kamar McKnight driving to the paint and challenging Charles Bassey and denied at the rim. That's what ignited the transition opportunity for Western Kentucky.
That's the first point of the night for Nelson, who was scoreless in 13 minutes of action last time out at Indiana State. One of 11 freshmen in the country last year to play in 38 games, goes 2 for 2 from the stripe. Under 3 to go in the second half. It's a 10-point Hilltopper lead. McKnight throws it up awkwardly. It's a turnover. He was looking for Chafee.
I wonder if that may be a fatigue turnover by Kamar McKnight right there. Young man's played his guts out tonight, hardly left the floor, but he'd like to have that one back.
He's played a team high 35 minutes tonight, and we got 2:15 to go. Under 10 to shoot for Savage, and Savage with a strong move to the basket. Timeout taken by Rick Stansbury.
It's a great ball screen up top by Charles Bassey and making Tennessee State Tigers commit the extra defender, and Savage able to turn the corner and finish.
Hilltoppers now have 2 timeouts left. We'll keep it here with 2:12 left in the game. It is a 12-point lead for Western Kentucky. So what's your strategy here for Tennessee State with the final 2:12?
Set your defense. Talk about the kind of shot that you don't want to give up. You know that Kamar McKnight has had the hot hand tonight. You know that Fitzpatrick Dorsey is their go-to guy. So you don't want those 2 guys to get loose on this possession. So we'll be interested to see who comes out for the Hilltoppers of matching up with those 2 key players. But if anybody gets a shot on this possession, you don't want it to be one of those 2 go-to guys.
You see Coach Stansbury and Coach Collins huddling around their teams in the 9th meeting all time between these 2 teams. Something had to give tonight. Both teams trying to snap a losing skid. Both teams have shown what they do well. Tennessee State made a couple threes early, but since then have kind of gone ice cold, just 5 of 17 from downtown tonight. And Western Kentucky just getting balanced effort scoring tonight. Deshaun Murray, 17 points. Hollingsworth has 18. Savage has 19. Anderson has 12.
Yeah, Trip Davis coming in, one of the hottest shooters in the nation. Only 1 3-point attempt.
Tennessee State with the basketball coming out of this timeout taken by Western Kentucky. Chaney, senior from Chicago, played in 30 games last year and averaged 5 points. Fitzpatrick Dorsey got fouled.
Interesting look. Coach Stansbury elected to go with his own defense out of the timeout, perhaps thinking that Tennessee State is drawing up something versus a man to get a quick shot. Slowed him down just a little bit. Unable to finish the possession without fouling.
What a night for Fitzpatrick Dorsey. 24 points. It's his 2nd miss at the line. He's 7 for 9 at the stripe tonight. But Coach Collins, he's got some pieces to work with here, especially once Tennessee State hits conference play in the OVC. Tennessee State was picked preseason 8th in the conference. That's 8 out of 12 teams. Belmont was picked to win the OVC. But if Fitzpatrick Dorsey and if McKnight continue to play at this level, look out.
Got to develop some offense from their post players, but they've already proven what they can do from the outside, and tonight off the dribble as well from the backcourt.
And remember, Tennessee State without Jalen Duke tonight, a junior from Nashville. He's averaging 7 points a game this season.
Really hurt their depth inside as they got more and more foul trouble.
Savage short on a 3. Long rebound to Davis, who lost it, and Bassey comes up with it for the Hilltoppers.
Great hustle play by the big fella, getting a stopping the transition opportunity for Tennessee State. Now the Hilltoppers gonna be content to milk this clock a little bit, handle the pressure Tennessee State's about to bring in the half-court trap.
Under 10 to shoot here for the Hilltoppers. Anderson with a thunderous dunk. Oh my goodness. Josh Anderson.
I think you call that an exclamation point on this victory here today in Diddle Arena. What do you think?
Goodness gracious. Josh Anderson says hello. That is a new season high for him, by the way, with 14 points.
Wow. A high riser going down the middle of the paint. Defender late to rotate, and one.
The shot clock was winding down. You just kind of thought the Hilltoppers would just shoot one with the shot clock counting down, and Anderson had other ideas.
Yeah, he saw a lane and he took it, and boy, what a finish. I think he likes not playing the point guard a little bit. We've seen that a little bit tonight in the second half. You know, doesn't have to be a decision maker, doesn't have to facilitate other offense, just worry about catching the ball and attacking the rim.
The foul, by the way, was on Moore, and to make matters worse for him, that's his 5th and final foul. Josh Anderson had Diddle Arena buzzing after that monster dunk.
And give the fans something to talk about as they leave tonight with a victory in hand. I'm sure he'll be racing to see that highlight on SportsCenter later tonight.
A technical foul has been called on Penny Collins. He wasn't animated by any means.
Yeah, not sure what's going on here.
He got a warning early in the first half, and I think he was wanting an explanation on something, and then the official just had enough turn around and hit him with a technical.
Yeah, Coach Rick Stansbury he wants an explanation as well. Just, hey guys, let's make a call and let's move on here. Let's finish this game.
So Coach Stansbury just got his explanation. So Jared Savage will attempt the technical free throws. Savage tonight, outstanding at the line. Jay's 13 of 13.
Yeah, he's capitalized on these opportunities to get to the free throw line. And, you know, he started off, forced a couple of jumpers early in the game, maybe got a little bit slow start, but when you're a great scorer like he is, you're having a cold night, that's a great way to get yourself going. Get yourself to the foul line, get a couple of cheap ones, and then the basket starts to get a little bit bigger, and he's had quite the night.
You are right. He did get off to a slow start by his standards, and then you look down, hey, he's got 20 points. If there is such a thing as a quiet 20 points.
Well, he's 3 for 11 from the field, so you know he's a better shooter than that. But again, 13 for 13 from the foul line. Not much better than that.
Chafee cleans it up at the rim. He's got 10 points. He's the 3rd Tiger in double digits. So West Kentucky, in their first home game in 3 weeks, on the verge of snapping their 2-game losing skid and going above 500 again. On the night, they bring in the All-Century team in front of a sellout crowd. Hollingsworth at the line.
Hollingsworth with 18 points. And we talked about him moving over, taking over point guard duties tonight. And it's not his natural position, and you know, hadn't been pretty all night long. Got 6 turnovers, which is too high, obviously, but he has been effective offensively and been able to score. And you know, as this season progresses for Western Kentucky, he won't have to play the point guard as much.
Right.
Be able to slide back over to the wing in his natural scoring position.
Up next for West Kentucky, by the way, they will be back in action at Missouri State on December the 5th. Tennessee State is about to receive a week off before they are back in action next on December the 9th. As they continue to play on the road, as the game clock and shot clock are about even. So West Kentucky will go on to win by 14, 88-74. What stood out to you tonight for West Kentucky?
Obviously, you know, Tennessee State was unable to keep the Hilltoppers off the foul line. In the first half, that was really the only difference in the game. 21 attempts from the foul line in the first half for Western Kentucky. And here in the second half, just the Tigers, too much foul trouble, not quite enough depth to be able to finish the deal here this afternoon.
So there's actually 0.4 of a second left. Let's see if Tennessee State will attempt a shot here. They will not. So now we have a final score. West Kentucky knocks off Tennessee State 88-74 to improve to 4-3 on the season. Tennessee State falls to 2-5. So for Jay Walton, I'm Graham Doty saying so long from Bowling Green, Kentucky, where the final score is Western Kentucky 88, Tennessee State 74. All games airing on the ESPN networks are streaming live and archive on the ESPN app. This has been a presentation of ESPN.